Hey guys, JMan37X here, and I'm very excited today to bring you the Epic Battle Fantasy V battle demo. So this basically is a, as you would expect, is a demo for the battle system in Epic Battle Fantasy V, which has been greatly revamped since the past game, and certainly the past games before the fourth one, which of course I covered extensively on my channel. It's just kind of like there's a few things that will be missing and stuff like that. This is still very early on as far as like balancing and stuff. He recommends you start out with the default options. I'll be starting out with I'll be showing all three sets of equipment, player, and skills and levels and stuff like that. I'm just gonna turn anti-aliasing all the way up because it looks nicer. And yeah, they have all the different difficulties. I'm not going to be showing like every single thing in this demo, but this is going to be a pretty in-depth analysis as far as like what we know from this demo and a bunch of the new skills and stuff like that. So for settings here, just some visual stuff, music, sounds. I highly recommend you have those on, especially because the music in this is really good. Some things that you can turn off for, like, you know, if you want a more PG experience, you can turn those off. If you're prone to seizures, you turn that off. There's a couple different Gui Skins. There's a bunch of new ones. Of course, blue is the classic Epic Battle Fantasy Gui skin, but they also have some other ones which actually look quite nice. Brown is just like this one, but it's like the RPG one, but with rounded edges, and then contrast is just like completely black. But I'm going to be going with RPG, I think. Players I found interesting, so I actually haven't tested this, but I assume you can actually only play with like a couple of characters, and then you can also have it so the foes are automatically scanned. But I'm just going to start pretty much with default for the first run here, so let's get right into it. So the first thing you might notice, the music is, like I said, is absolutely fantastic. This is a great track. I've spent a lot of time just like messing around with this battle demo, and this music never gets old. So right off the bat, you're gonna notice some differences. One, you know, like if you haven't been following the Epic Battle Fantasy V dev like updates and stuff, you're gonna be in for a real shock in this video. Let me tell you. So right off the bat, we have No Legs is a character in the game now, playable character. I mean. There's a lot of new. I don't know what the best way to tackle this stuff is. I'm just gonna start with just like the basic command menu. So you have your basic attack, pretty standard. I don't think at this level anyone has limit breaks yet. Tactics, there's a few new tactics here. Defend, switch player. You'll notice there's this little icon. You can actually switch player just by clicking on him now, but it's also in the tactics still for if you're you know, just used to doing it that way. But this alone is a fantastic quality of life improvement. Just being able to switch between them like that is fantastic. There's also a control button for bringing in either of your backup party. So you have Anna and No Legs here, but like if I switch Anna in, then it becomes, you know, Switch and Matt. Pretty self-explanatory there. Scan foes is now once again changed. In the third game, it was a skill that Lance used. In the fourth game, it was a summon, and in this game, it's just in the tactics. So you just scan everything on the field at once, and then it adds it to your bestiary. So I'm gonna go ahead. Well, no, I'll wait to do that for now. This is a completely new mechanic, capturing foes. The way you get summons in this game is that you actually capture foes yourself and turn them into summons. So you can capture any enemy in the game, maybe even bosses. I'm not sure. Well, some foes can't be captured, so maybe not. But yeah, you can capture pretty much anything in the game. And you know, it's a lot like Pokemon, where damage foes and status conditions make that easier. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of explaining, so I just want to make sure the game's audio is a little bit lower. You have skip turn, which is, I think, also new. You just do nothing. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that when you could at least defend, but you know, there's that. And then flee, which actually works in the demo. If you flee, I'll show that in a bit, but it will actually end the encounter and take you back to the main menu. And so there's that. I'm gonna skip skills for now because that depends on the characters. Summons, we don't have any summons at this basic level yet. Equips is just as you remember it. Everyone has some starting equips. I'll go over those in a moment. And then items. Once again, there's a lot of new items and stuff, but that basically works the same as everything else. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at the player menu thingies. So it has all the same stats. There's no new stats in this game. Attack, defense, accuracy, magic attack, magic defensive aid, and HP, all that stuff. All the elements are the same. Bomb has a bit of a different icon now, and you know, all the other ones have been touched up very nicely, but all the elements are the same in this game. This is where it starts to get sorry. This is what starts to get a little crazy down here. It's status resistance, though. You'll notice pretty much all of these actually represent 2 status inflictions. Sorry. I haven't done this in a while. So I don't actually know what all of these are yet. Burn and Scorch. I don't know the difference between Burn and Scorch at the moment. Stun is the same. Chill and Freeze. Frozen just means you can't attack. Chill means I think you take increased damage from water and ice, and it goes away with a fire attack. Poison, I presume, is the same as in previous games, while Virus is a new status infliction. Here we have Siphon and Disable, same as previous games. Curse and Bad Luck. Bad Luck just... I don't really understand what the luck mechanics do, but there's good luck and bad luck, and they like affect your RNG rolls, I think. Stagger and Confuse. Stagger just means that the next hit you take will be a critical hit, I believe, if it's the same as in previous games. And Confuse, I am not sure. It might be random attack targets. Wet and Dry. Wet just means you take increased damage from electricity and decreased from fire, I think. And then Dry, I believe, is a new mechanic that I'm not sure what it does. Heavy and Light. Heavy, I think, means that you take increased earth but decreased wind damage, and then Light is the opposite, where you take increased wind and decreased earth. Weak and Tired, I believe, are the same as in previous games, and I think both of those were in previous games. Dispel is its own thing, and once again it's the same. And then Death and Doom, which Death is just dying instantly, and Doom is a countdown where once it hits 0, you die instantly. So, yeah, status resistance, most of them come in pairs in this game as far as, like, what you can be resistant to, which is pretty interesting, I think. And it also would help, because if that wasn't the case, there'd be, like, 2 more rows to this thing. So it'd be a little bit overwhelming, I think, even more so than it already can be. Okay, so I think that takes care of all the basic stuff. It still have an SP meter for your summons, which of course I can't show off right now. You still have your HP, and you'll notice something is missing. Something I'd actually forgotten, a really major change, is that there's no mana in this game at all. There's no magic mana, I don't remember what it's called before. There's no MP at all in this game. It's completely gone. You'll note there's no items that restore it. It's completely removed, which is very interesting, and that kind of segues into our next thing. Let me see if I can find one here. Here we go. Has a 1-turn cooldown. So now, instead of using mana, some abilities have cooldowns. Actually, quite a lot of the like, especially support abilities and stuff like that, like stat boosts and heals and stuff, they all have cooldowns now. So you can only use them after... So, like, this is a 1-turn cooldown, so you use this, and then the next turn... Like, Matt's next turn, he wouldn't be able to use this, and then the turn after, he'd be able to, pretty straightforward. I don't know why I felt the need to explain what a cooldown is, but, just in case anyone out there might not fully understand how it might work. So, early on, there's not a lot to do, but later on, the cooldowns can get pretty insane. So now I think I want to start getting into all the players' basic skills. I'm not going to go into all of them in depth, but I want to show off all their most basic skills kind of in depth. So this is Quick Slash, pretty straightforward. Element effect depends on the current weapon. It's, Matt's basic, like, skill-based attack that isn't like his actual attack. Pretty simple there. Steal Item I thought was kind of an interesting skill they give you pretty early on. Steals a random item from a target enemy. I'm not sure. I guess it probably steals, like, you get a random item that enemy can drop, but you just get it for free and you can get it in battle, which is kind of interesting. Temper, once again, pretty simple. Gives them attack buff and Brave, 1-turn cooldown, same as in the last game, except for the cooldown. Light Blade apparently is a pretty early weapon you get, or attack you get in this game. I think before there was only Holy Sword, so they actually have a lower level version of it in this game. And then Earth Edge, which is his basic Earth attack. You'll notice a lot of things, all the icons are completely new in this game, and a lot of old skills, I mean a lot of old skills, have been renamed. So veterans of the series might take a little bit, it might take you guys a little bit of time, and myself included, to get used to all of the renames and the retextures and stuff like that. And then Geyser Gush, which I think for Matt was a special skill in the last game. It seems to maybe be just a skill that he has automatically now. Switch to Nat, and you'll notice she actually has quite a lot of different elements right off the bat here. She has her basic elemental attacks, pretty straightforward ones there. Heal, just as you'd expect. Bubble Bop, which I think was a special skill last time. She has Energy Blip, which I think she did have an explosion attack in the last game, but which is very nice. And then she also has, she also has a wind-based attack, so she She starts out with 6 different elements to attack with, at least in this demo, at level 4 apparently. I don't know how that's going to correlate to the actual game, but pretty cool there, I would say. And then for Lance, he's got Snipe, basic ability, high accuracy, attack based on is sorry, like the effect and damage type and stuff is based on his current equipment. You'll also notice that Matt has a different just like pistol in his hand based on each of the special guns he has, which is kind of neat. Double shot, another classic one, plasma shot, and flame shot both have a 1-turn cooldown. Otherwise, they work pretty much the same as far as I can tell. Dark shot, same deal there, and then lock on. All of his skills are pretty straightforward. This one gives good luck. So, actually, I kind of want to use this so I can see what the exact description of luck is. Let's see. Your luck is increased. See, the wording is a little bit confusing. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it at this point in time. Luck is increased. Yeah, so it just seems like any RNG effects that character has inflicted on them or they inflict are increased basically in their favor, as far as I can tell. And then, so really quick, actually, for his turn, I'm going to go ahead and use Scan Foes. So you can kind of see this little animation here. It's running a little bit slower than it would otherwise because I have it zoomed in really far on the web page, so sorry about that. So here's the enemy bio screen, pretty much identical to what it has been in the previous games. Yeah, it just shows their resistances and all that stuff. Pretty simple. So next I want to show off the other 2 players' basic abilities. We have Ana here, piercing shot, pretty basic one there. Bow whack, this is a brand new ability, so you actually can attack with just your actual bow now, which is kind of neat. And cause them to consider surrendering. That's a new status infliction where basically it can happen at various times. I think it's very common to happen when an enemy is about to die, but there are some things like this that can just invoke it apparently very early on, where basically the next turn they have an action, they will run away 100% of the time, and you'll get the same experience and drops and all that stuff, but you just don't have to bother killing them, which I think is pretty interesting mechanic. I'll be curious how that kind of plays into the game as a whole. Wind Gust, pretty straightforward there. It makes target lighter, so I guess that's it's an interesting little icon there, because I don't think that's the same as oh yeah, I guess that is the same as light. Okay, never mind. Renew, basic heal, poison ivy, Gaia seed, those are all the same as previous game, but here's where I think a lot of people, especially who have been following the blog, might be very interested, and even people who have, like, he hasn't really gone over No Legs skills yet. So this is got a cardboard box. No Legs is so cute. Okay, so these I'm all gonna go into a lot more in depth than I have in the previous ones. So Sword Hop, basic command attack, hits the target 3 times, moving onto a new target, a new foe if the target dies, and it gains an extra hit for each foe killed. So this, a lot of his skills later on followed this same sort of trend, where it hits 3 times, but if it kills one, it gets an extra hit. And I think that has a lot of potential. Like, if you just weaken a bunch of enemies, this one attack can just clear out an entire wave of like really just like nearly damaged enemies, just because it can keep hopping between them. I think it's a really unique and pretty neato mechanic, in my opinion. And yeah, of course, it's based on his current equipment. Multi-stab hits 1 enemy 4 times. This doesn't hop to different enemies, but pretty good overall attack box that hits 4 times, and it has 1 turn cooldown. Berserk, here's a classic ability that now belongs to him. I don't know. The thing is, there's no I don't know if there's like skills that only like that you can teach to multiple people in this game. I don't actually remember if he's talked about that. If so, there's no way to tell the difference between them here, so I don't know which of these skills these characters actually have, or which ones that like that they're always gonna have, or that they might not necessarily have, if that makes any sense. Anyway, this is just Berserk. You can actually do a player or foe, which I don't know if that was always the case before. And yeah, they just attack constantly, 1 turn cooldown. Pretty simple. This is a neat one here. It makes them lovable, which is a new status infliction, where they cannot be targeted by single target attacks at all. So like if I cast this on Matt can't be targeted anymore by any attacks ever, while this is going on at least. So like he can still be hit by attacks that hit everyone or that hit random targets, but he can't be selected as an attack target by the enemy, which I think is kind of Very cool mechanic, and we'll see later on that this has even more potential. Sushi Cat. I think this had an exclamation mark at the end of it last time I played, so I wonder if they changed that. Yeah, it hits 3 random enemies with magic damage and then heals the 2 most damaged players. Pretty neat here. I thought this was going to be like a summon, but it's actually just one of No Legs' basic abilities. So that's pretty cool one there. 2-turn cooldown, but very, very nice ability. And then Encore. It allows an ally to have an extra turn. I like using this on yourself is pointless. I'm about to do that, actually. I didn't even know you could do that. There we go. And I just actually wanted to show that it gives haste, which is just a status infliction that means you get to take another turn. Like, that's all there is to it. Yeah, Encore is another one. I think No Legs has a lot of very neat abilities. I think he's gonna be largely a support type character, but also one that's able to dish out his own damage in his own special ways. He's gonna be a really neat character, I think. And also, I want to show a little bit of No Legs' equipment here. So the steel buckler that he starts out with, presumably his most basic weapon. A couple resistances there, basic stats, and then he also starts with the bandit blade, which is water element, oddly enough, which is a bit strange to me, but some resistance there. I also just want to show off the equipment switching animation. Here's the army equipment, which is kind of like a classic, has been changed around a little bit here, in appearance at least. It comes in different colors, so basically it'll change colors depending on your other equipment, I think, which seems kind of neat. I'm going to go ahead and throw the camo stuff on here. Other stuff, you started with heroic plate, or heroic armor, which I think is just like armor, like heavy armor, basically. Officer's Code, which is, yeah, these guys all have their basic equipment, although oddly enough, the pirate, like, armor has been changed to hobo in this game, which is a bit strange. And then for the flares, we have Bandage, which increases Earth, Death, and Doom resistance. This one, which gives good luck status, but also gives resistance to electricity, and then this one, which increases accuracy and wind resistance. So, you can see there's going to be a lot of flares in this game. I'm just going to go ahead and give them, not sure. So, that's how the equipment change looks. And, whew, I think, oh no, yeah, I also want to show off the items really quick. So, Pumpkin, all of the healing items in this game heal an amount and also a percent. So, I think, so this heals 300 HP or 20% of max HP. I presume that's going to be whichever one is higher. So, if 20% of their max HP would heal them more than 300, then it will do that one. I'm pretty positive that's how it's gonna work. And then Pineapple only heals single target in this game, which I think it was multiple target in the last game. But anyway, Raspberries 200% or 20% of all living party members. Garlic, of course, can't go wrong there. Heals status problems. Banana, which heals debuffs. So apparently those are set. So you can actually heal debuffs now with just an item, which is kind of neat. I have an apple, which reduces cooldown. So instead of mana restoring items, now we have a couple of cooldown restoring items, which is you know, kind of interesting. And then the 4 healing drinks, or like stat boosting drinks, all do by 60%, and it actually says that now, which I don't think it did before. And then you have a coffee, which once again says with 30% HP. Again, I don't think it said that before, so they're giving you more information now, which I think is really cool. So you actually are able to even better like plan out stuff without like just memorizing what these statistics are. Whew. Okay, I think that's a bit wordy. This is quite a heavy talking video to get back into, but I think that covers everything in this most basic one. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this guy off here. It's gonna be a pretty straightforward one. He's weak to Earth, so I'll go ahead and use Earth Edge. I do actually. Oh right, his invisible. Immune to off. Huh, that's interesting. That's a new status function that I hadn't even seen until now. That's very interesting. Yeah, I did actually want to show a little bit of battling in this video, which would be, you know, pretty nice, considering this is a battle demo, but this is, first and foremost, I really want to just go over all of the little things that I've noticed and stuff that I've learned about the upcoming game here. But, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and, whoops, you can just, have some garlic, sure. That'll, wait, no, I should use banana. Oh, that also doesn't get rid of invisible. Okay, yeah, I have a lot to learn here, as you can tell. Oh, he's tired. It's a tire. Oh my god. Bio damage taken is increased by 50%. That's another interesting little interaction that I did not know about until now. Just like how it's an actual tire as the status icon. That's amazing. Let's see if you can finish him off here. Very nice. So basically, as far as like... Oh, also, when you get items, you also just mouse over them to pick them up for multiple things, which is kind of interesting. And then they'll also just collect themselves, I think, after a short amount of time. But, yeah, basically in the battle demo, it just is going to loop over battles with random enemies forever. And their levels... I don't know if the levels increase as you go on. I doubt it. But, yeah, I think that's everything I want to show off here. So we'll go ahead and flee from this encounter. As you get a nice little bit of dialogue there. And then it brings you back to the title screen so you can start over. So now we're going to go to mid-game and go to normal difficulty just for fun. And I'm also going to turn on faux scan from here on out just because it'll be a bit nicer. A few things carry over, actually, between... Like, when you flee, it doesn't reset everything. So as you can see, I'm on wave 3 now. And also my cooldowns, if I go to him... well, if I use a skill that had a cooldown at the end there, it would have still had some cooldown carryover. But as you can see, we have a lot more skills now. We have a lot more equips now, and we have a few summons now. I'm not going to go over all of these skills one by one, but I just want to kind of breeze over them and kind of see which ones are of interest. Like, a lot of these are like repeating. Slicing Cyclone is Matt's new hit all enemy attack, which I think completely replaces just regular. I think it was just Cyclone before. I don't remember, where he just like dashed through all the enemies. This basically replaces it. He just throws his weapon and it hits everyone, all the enemies, I think it's like 3 or 4 times, and has a 1-turn cooldown. Revenge, Legend, all that stuff's the same. Light Blade, Temper. He has this water ability here, which isn't, I guess, replaced Flood. I think they redesigned a lot of these, and I think it's to make the distinction between physical and magic attacks more clear. Because before, like, this did just shoot water out of the ground, which could seem like a magic attack. You know, it's a bit ambiguous, but here it's like a water spike, or a pike in this case. So it's very clearly physical. Similarly, Fire Spire, which replaced his old, like, Fire Plume, like lava, fire out of the ground ability, which now it's like a Fire Spike, as you can see. So it's very, they disambiguated a lot of stuff. Also, I don't know why I did that. I kind of wanted to look at the rest of his skills. Hold on. That was a bit foolish of me. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try that again. Very similar first wave here, oddly enough. Oh, these chocolate slimes. Okay. Anyway, and then Frost Fragment, which I'm sure that's probably the same. It's just like a glacier that comes out of the ground. Nettle, you know, one of his classic abilities. Still not very good, but there's that. Power Poke, which again replaced the ability from before where like shot a little spark out of the ground to disambiguate that. Now it's like an electric sword. And he also can just create a bullet out of the air, which I think is interesting. That's the skill I'll use next, actually, just after I'm done looking at his skills. Gale, actually, I'm curious about this one, like how this one is a physical attack, how they changed how it looks. Some summons, I'll go over that in a little bit. I'm not going to go over all this equipment. There's a lot of equipment here, but if you want to check out all this stuff for yourself, I highly recommend you go and check out the demo. It's going to be in the description, of course. There is a lot to see here. I would spend hours going over all the stuff in this video, so I'd rather not spend quite that. It's going to be a long video, but it's not going to be that long. Okay, so I do want to see how Bullet Bob looks. So he just does a little animation, then yeah, he just conjures a bullet out of thin air. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so now for Nat's Lucky Star, pretty simple there. Star Power, which just buffs magic attack. Blessed Bunny, which I don't remember. I think this was a summon in the last game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Now it's not, and it gives them Blessed, which of course is a really good status if you remember from the last game. Something I almost forgot to mention. So you notice that she only has Fire Blast. She doesn't have Fireball anymore. In this game, old skills are replaced completely by upgraded versions. So before you had Fireball, which was single target and did a bit of damage, and then if anyone is familiar with the series, know that you can upgrade. You could basically purchase a better version of that skill, which is this one here, Fire Blast, which is better in every way. But before, all of the old attacks would still appear on your skill menu, so you'd still, you know, they'd still be there, and you'd have to look at them and kind of sift through them to find the ones that you want. But now they actually completely replace them, which is a fantastic improvement. And there's some, you know, some minor things you might be wondering about that. but that will be, I promise that'll be addressed in the next iteration of, what was I gonna say? Like the next, when we get to the final set of equipment and stuff. So, yeah, she has all her basic magic attacks. Intoxicate, which is just a bio. Oh, also, it's not called poison anymore, it's called bio for the, for this status affliction, or this thing, it's bio now. Just, I forgot to mention that. It's just a name change, but it's functionally the same. Dark Pulse and Holy Light, I think... No, never mind. Okay. I was about to say something that I'm pretty sure is just straight up wrong. Spectral Flash, a lot of these are old skills, old returning skills. Siphon, Heal More. Oh, this actually, never mind, this actually takes care of what I was going to talk about next time. So, this replaced Heal, but you'll remember that, Heal More only heals the entire team and not just a single teammate. But, see here in the description, it can also target a single ally for concentrated healing. So this kind of brings up a unique thing where you can heal everyone on your team like you can do with Heal More, but then you also still have the functionality of your basic heal attack, heal move, sorry, that you can use on any single party member. So even though this overwrites heal, and, you know, normally you'd think that you'd lose the functionality of single healing, that's actually not the case, because now you can potentially have multiple different types of targets for any given move. That'll become a lot more evident in the next round of equipment. Water Whirl, just some basic other elemental attacks. Barrier is now blue, so there's that. And you see this the really good status buffing moves like this one, 5-turn cooldown. This is where we start to see really high cooldowns for certain stuff. And then here's the common sense. Oh, you can actually cast this on it. I actually didn't know that. You can cast Purify on enemies now. That's very interesting. It doesn't get rid of neutral ones, but I guess I'm curious what kind of application that could have against the enemies. Okay, so now from Lance, we have his basic moves here. They actually didn't do that with Plasma for these two, so these still only target all enemies, but I think that's because they do the same amount of damage as the single target ones. And since there's no mana, there's literally no reason for you to not use the one that hits all enemies. So they just didn't bother. Big Bomb, of course. I think they actually split. Actually, we'll get into that in the next time. Never mind. Hold on. just hold the thought about there's something interesting with the bomb attacks that we'll get to a bit later on. Machine Gun, Poison Gas. Medipack, Lock On, Solar Flare. Debilitate and Enfeeble, I believe, is a new one. It debuffs the magic defense of all enemies, whereas Debilitate does just regular defense. Go ahead and bring Ana out here, and just quickly go over the rest of her skills. Whirlwind, Log Jab, Leaf Blade. I'm kind of interested because she has Leaf Blade and Poison Vines, which are both pretty similar bio-type attacks. So I thought that was kind of interesting. She has all her basic arrows here, Blessed Arrow, Spark Arrow, Aqua Arrow, Frost Arrow that you come to expect from her last game, but then she also has Nitro Arrow, which I think is kind of neat. So we have another player that actually has access to bomb type attacks, which is always nice, in my opinion, because explosive attacks were pretty hard to come by previously. Refresh, all these basic ones here. Saw Blade, you know the drill. And then lastly we have No Legs, which he's the real interesting one. Swift Slash hits all enemies, element and effect dependent current weapon, high accuracy, 1-turn cooldown. Very nice, just hit everything attack there. Sword Bounce, this is just the upgrade of the attack, the one from last time. I don't remember what it's called already, but yeah, it's just that again, and then multi-stab. He also has his own set of like signature type elemental attacks. He has Wind, Water, Electric, Holy, and Dark, which I find it strange. This is a very similar set to what Ana can do, and I'm not sure why they took that route, why Kupo took that sort of path, because she has you know, Water, Electric, and Holy all as her own signature set of like 5 elemental type weapon attacks. But, you know, they serve different functionalities, certainly, and they inflict different statuses, and he also has Dark, which is kind of neato. And then there's Cherish, which at this level now gives untargetable for 6 turns, which is pretty cool. Berserk, Sushi Cat, Snow Bunnies, just ice magic to hit all enemies. Encore, and then power poke. I didn't notice this before. I noticed this with a different attack, but actually something related to what I'd mentioned earlier is that, did I already attacked with Matt. You'll remember that Matt also has power poke. So, actually, it's evident that, like, there might be some special skills that, not only can multiple characters learn them, multiple characters can learn them at the same time in this game, which I think is pretty cool. And then, of course, we have summons, which I'll go ahead and, use one of these guys. Oh, interesting, actually. I should summon one of those. Sorry, what element is this? I think it's explosive. Let's go for it. This steel wraith here. Yep, that's explosive iron. Okay, I do want to try capturing one of these guys if I can. We'll do a little bit more fighting here. Let's just drop a bomb on this guy. See what happens. Something I do want to mention about the bomb attack right now, though, is that bomb attack will always hit. It'll always get the big bomb that hits a single enemy, like how it just hit it dropped that one bomb that, well, only hits a single enemy. Anyway, yeah, it always does that. There's no RNG with the bomb attack anymore. Let's see. What are you weak to? I don't want to kill you. You're partially weak to bombs. Let's try Nitro AR on you. Pretty neat looking attack there. Now let's try capturing you. I didn't get it. Okay. Well, let's try again. I want to do a little bit more battling here before we get into the next wave, or the next set. I don't want this to be all information, but I might do a video of. Oh no, don't. Oh man, that's close. Okay, please nobody counterattack. Oh no. Okay, cool. We got morale. Can I be killed more? Okay. A little baby bomb. That's interesting. Okay, now surely we can capture this guy. Now, 37 HP left. Crap. I'm just gonna try it again. I really want to capture one of these guys. Yeah, these guys. I think these chocolate slimes are a bit like mini bosses, so they're a bit harder to capture. There we go. You get SP for capturing them, and then I also just wanted to show this. You can change his name to whatever you like, and then if you go to your summons. Oh, does that replace this one? Okay, now I'm curious. So if I use this, do I still have the other chocolate slime summon that I had before? Let's go ahead and take a look here. Well, I have to go through another round of attacks, but also, I'd just like to mention that is a ridiculous counterattack from No Legs with whatever is doing that, probably his weapon. It's pretty insane. Okay, so more between turn effects, and oh, see, I was under the impression that summons were one-time use. That's not the case. That's really cool. Okay, so apparently if you capture an enemy, you just have it forever. Oh, that opens up an interesting world of possibilities for that. So I'm assuming there's probably going to be a limit on how many different summons you can have at a time. Oh, that gets me thinking even more. Oh man. Oh god, I really can't wait for this game. Okay. Oh, I didn't even mention it if there was any last time. There's weather in this game. I heard a friend who was playing this a lot, and he said he saw like 10 different weather conditions, and he still didn't see any sign of them stopping. So basically, there's just random weather. This one, everyone gets chilled between turns. There's like low and high gravity, which just increase or just inflict heavy and light. There's like a fire rain that I've seen that just like drops fire onto the battlefield. There's a lot. There's gonna be a lot of different weathers in this game. Yeah, I don't want this to drag on too much longer, so I'm not gonna go over too much of this in-depth. Cataclysmic Cut is just Cataclysm again. Again, they just changed the names of a lot of old skills. A better Nettle, which is pretty cool. It's actually really strong too. Laser Blade, really powerful electric attack. Giga Drill, which they just show him having it here. That's a classic one. Big Bullet. Sonic Slam, Power Metal they give to him, even though it's magic, but he's a pretty good one to have, that so that he can do a bit of healing on his own. They also supply some new summons this time. Some pretty powerful ones, as you can see here. Really quick, I do want to see what Sonic Slam looks like, even though this is going to be horribly ineffective against all of this stuff, but I just want to see it. Okay. That is a pretty cool animation. It's just a cosmic monolith with light. Oh, God. Okay. yeah, for her, as you can see, more examples of this. Powerful fire magic that hits all enemies, but you can also focus it on a single enemy, so that basically it's like Cat. And then it also even tells you what the power of both of the things do. I forgot to mention that before. So target, you see the one with 3 dots has 80 power, which is multiple targets, so that hits everything. And then the one with a single dot is a single target, and it does 140, and it even increases the percentage of inflicting status. So there's a lot of really interesting mechanics at play in this game. Like, I mean a lot. Something a bit confusing to me, though, is that Dark Pulse and Dark Pulsar, like, these aren't stacked on top of each other, even though they even both hit a single target. I guess it's because the stronger ones have a cooldown, and they also do different status inflictions. So as you can see, this one may weaken, but this one drains HP. But I don't know. It seems it's a little bit strange to me how that he did it that way, where a few of these aren't stacked. But that's just me. And the Rainbow Blast is just like Spectrum, but it's upgraded so it can hit multiple targets. Siphon Field is now a thing, which I think is pretty neat. There's Heal More, Bubble Blast, Magic Barrier again, Purify, and Revive with a two-turn cooldown, if you're curious about that. That's no more Revive spamming, which is something that I used through a lot of the really hard parts of the 4th game. So this game's gonna really make me rethink a lot of my old strategies, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to completely reevaluate how I play. Because he's got Unload with these attacks, so you can either do the classic thing that Lance does, where he targets on a single foe and every other foe takes a third of the damage, or it does even damage to everything on the field. So you can now do either with those attacks. And same with Antimatter Flux. Airstrike is so basically you can do how in the other games that you could randomly get 3 different types of missiles. Now all 3 of those types of missiles, you choose which one you get. So you can hit everything with the set of 3 missiles. You can hit one target with the big missile, but then you also have the Moab, which is the really powerful bomb that you can get before, where it hits everything and does massive damage, but it has a 10-turn cooldown. Some of the insanely strong moves in this game have a 10-turn cooldown. So those are the real high-impact attacks. Poison Gas Multi-Medipack, I realize now, is a new thing, so that's pretty cool. Heals all allies and removes any status problems. 3-turn cooldown. Hyper Beam, another classic move there. Purging Flame, which is, I believe Holy Fire was one that we had before, so there's that. And then Dispel Buff, which dispels all foes, cancels buffs, positive effects, and it can be used on allies to cancel their debuffs, which is kind of interesting. So there's that. Switching Honor really quick. I don't think she has a whole lot of interest here. Bow Whack, Razor Leaf, pretty neat looking attack there. A lot of just powered up basic. Oh yeah, she also has upgraded versions of these attacks now. So you can either attack all enemies, but it's random. So like if I use this, it'll shoot 3 arrows, but the targets that it picks will be randomized. Or you can do a bunch of damage to one target, which I think that target icon where it's like different circles, that just shows that it hits everything but randomly distributed. So that's kind of interesting. Also, I realized that these attacks all actually have very different attack power, which I guess is consistent with how she was before, but I just hadn't realized that that was the case in this game. Gaia Blossom, same sort of dealio there. Reflex Breeze, which, you know, this is a classic, really good one. Also, team buffing effects like this. Also, backup players can now have buffs and things, which is awesome. They will count down every turn like any other players would. It's just that I don't think there's currently a way to check that, besides just switching them in. But, yeah, so that's really cool. And then they give her Fire Spin like people generally did in the 4th game. She has Screamer and then Cell Blade Frenzy, so it's all that. And then No Legs will be getting a bit more attention because he's brand new. Swift Slash again, Sword Dance, Blade Blitz. Single foe with 11 slashes. Wow, I just realized that. That's pretty insane. And then he has all of these really powerful versions of these moves. Again, really, really curious to see how No Legs is going to play in the actual game. Now he can also give lovable status to everyone on the team, which I think is absolutely insane. It's only for 2 turns, and it has a 3-turn cooldown, but he can also just give it to one person for 9 turns. It's just insane to me. So he can also Berserk all players, or one player, or one foe, so that's pretty neat. he has a couple really high impact moves like this here. Hits all enemies with magical non-elemental damage, takes a long time to recharge. Made Dispel, high accuracy, and by Made Dispel, it's 100% chance to dispel, but 10 turn cooldown. Similarly, 9 lives. Heals all allies, gives them all auto revive, revives dead allies. With it gives 3 turns of auto revive, but it has a 10 turn cooldown. Absolutely insane move there. This is kind of where my theory that he's gonna be largely like a support character, or at least like he's gonna be really good at support. Oh, Sushi Cat now has an exclamation mark. I guess this is the upgraded version of Sushi Cat that I see that has the exclamation mark. Snowcats again. He also has Reflex Breeze, which I think is kind of neat. Encore, Fire Spin again. Oh yeah, he also has Fire Spin and Laser Blade. Very interesting. And then for summons, I just kind of want to show off the Cyclops because I think this is like the first boss of the game, and he's pretty badass. He does a lot of damage. I think that's everything that I wanted to show here. Sorry that was very long-winded, a lot of talking, but there's a lot of explanation that I wanted to get through. Not a whole lot of battling, so I'm sorry if that's what you came here for. But I definitely will consider, since I think the full game is still pretty far off, so I definitely will be considering doing a just kind of like oh wait, he's not weak to bomb. Whoops. That was a mess up. Yeah, I'm definitely considering doing a bit of actual battling and kind of doing that, uploading that at some point. But I am insanely excited for this game right now. This demo has really gotten me pumped, I gotta be honest. This game is gonna be absolutely insane, and you guys, hopefully you guys all stick around for a full in-depth playthrough of Epic Battle Fantasy V as soon as it comes out. So yeah, also the weather happens in between turns. Oh, it even says that. Never mind. That was pointless. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check the description for a link to my twitch.tv channel, as well as in the end screen, I will have a link to my Epic Battle Fantasy IV playthrough. If any of you guys are new to my channel and want to check that out, it's a bit lengthy, so just as a warning. But yeah, I hope you guys check that out. Also, I hope you guys enjoy the new outro. I spent a long time working on that because annotations are gone, so I had to reformat my outro anyway. I keep thinking it's weak to bomb. Yeah, I had to completely reformat my outro, so I figured I would just make a brand new one, and I got a different song and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And yeah, check me out on Twitch. I'm officially on summer break, so I will be doing more videos and a lot more live streaming. So I hope to see you guys around. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.